the Tuesday, September 20th, 2020 School Building Committee meeting to order. If I could please first read these statements regarding COVID. Due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic and state of emergency, on March 12th, 2020, Governor Baker issued an executive order temporarily suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law. On July 16, 2022, Governor Baker signed into law an act relative to the extension of certain state emergency accommodations, which, among other things, extends the expiration of the provisions to the open meeting law to March 31st, 2023. More tell you at walpole.k12.ma.us. Our next order of business is approval of the meeting minutes from August 16th, 2022. Do we have any questions about the meeting minutes? Hearing none, I take a motion to accept the meeting minutes from August 16th.
So moved.
Motion from Ms. Gallivan. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. Hahn. Let me poll the committee. Mr. Frisha.
Yes.
Mr. Barrett.
Yes.
Ms. Gallivan.
Yes.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Mr. Fisher.
That's a yes.
Mr. Connor. Mr. Connor. Mr. Connor, that is a yes. Mr. Hahn.
Yes. Mark, you might have a bad
Sounds
connection.
momentarily frozen. Ms. Santiago Taylor. Let me turn
Yes.
my video off. Mr. Hahn, your vote,
Voted yes.
and Ms. Santiago Taylor.
Yes.
And it is a vote. Our next order of business is the discussion on authorizing a subcommittee to approve emergency spending up to a preset limit for the project. Mrs. Compass, Chin, or Brian, or Kate?
I'll take it. So I'll be sure usually the project would designate usually that the project should have a process when a change event comes up between the school building committee meetings and direction, i.e. usually in this case, a change order is required prior to the next meeting. And while this is rare that it does happen from time to time, and then so that frequently that the way that the process is set up is that the committee designates either a group of individuals or one individual, like a designee, to authorize that person or the group of individuals to be able to authorize the spending up to a preset limit. And right now that we have suggested 25,000, which might be slightly on the low side, but this is up for the committee to discuss and determine. And should the committee choose to establish a subcommittee, then all the public meeting regulation would have to comply, such as posting and so on and so forth. For Mr. Chairman, so that this is for the committee to for discussion and take a vote should if that is the choice of the committee.
Do we have any questions or comments?
I do, Mark.
Yeah, go ahead, Jack.
I would suggest a subcommittee of like 3 people. And they can get together and act together pretty quickly. There's a 2-day posting. Nothing should happen that's going to require an action more than 2 days in advance. And the $25,000, even if it's low, very quickly, $25,000 times 4 or 5 gets up into 6 digits. So I think $25,000 in a subcommittee of 3 would be very appropriate.
Thanks, Jack. Anybody else? Questions or comments? So do we agree to form a subcommittee? Do we have any volunteers to serve in this subcommittee?
I'll volunteer.
All right, Jack, that's one. Anybody else?
I'll volunteer.
All right, Mr. Barrett, that's two. Do we have a third?
I'm thinking about the expertise that's needed on there. Like, I think that if we could just get a little bit of a sense of what kinds of things might come up. I think it's great that Jack Fisher wants to do it. And, Ben has some good experience in the construction world too. Is it more construction related or is it more education related, I guess would be my question.
I would look at it as education, Nancy. Things like, for example, there's some unanticipated water leak and they have to go out and rent a pump. Something like that. It wouldn't be for a change in requirements. It would be something that it's an emergency situation that has to be dealt with before the full committee can meet and make the decisions. So.
Well, I know you well enough to volunteer, you Mike Frisha, but would you be willing to do it only because you're available during the school day when a lot of us are not?
Yeah, I was just about to volunteer when you spoke on it, Nancy. So yes, I absolutely would.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Mike. So we have a subcommittee. So I'm not certain the process. Is there some process for forming this committee, or did we just form it already?
Mark, I think just go ahead and have someone make a motion and second to have a subcommittee of three.
Anybody
Go
want to help
for it.
me out?
I would make a motion to create a subcommittee for the purpose of authorizing
All right.
emergency spending. And I would recommend that we appoint Jack Fisher, Ben Barrett, and Mike Frisha to be that subcommittee. And setting the maximum amount, at least right now, at $25,000. And come back to us if that's to be a problem.
Thanks, Nate. So we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that motion before Mike changes his mind.
All right, so we have a second for Mr. Anderson. Let me poll the committee. Mr. Frisha,
Yes.
Mr. Barrett,
Yes.
Ms. Gallivan,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Fisher,
Yes.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Mr. Hahn,
Yes.
Ms. Santiago Taylor,
Yes.
and I vote yes, it is a vote. Our next order of business is the project status update from Compass. Again, back to you, Chin.
Okay, so this is an update on the schedule, and there really is no change on that. And the meeting dates, as far as we know, that there's no change as of now, and that for the summer work, that as everyone knows, that the school has opened with updated traffic pattern. And to the best of our knowledge, that seems like everything seemed to be working. And then the real test is tomorrow with the open house that we will have as many people as we can imagine onto the jobs, onto the project site. And provisions are being made to provide additional parking and lighting. And so far, everything has been fairly smooth. And then this is the temporary pole, and then there are lights on the temporary pole that, to the best of my knowledge, that it will be powered up tonight, or they should be powered up tonight. And so that's the status of the current summer work. Any questions from the committee? Okay, seeing none. Mr. Chairman, should I go forward on the testing and inspection amendment?
Please do, Chin. Yep, please do.
Okay, so was the project approved to start the site package that the committee approved, and then we have the paperwork in progress. We would need to start bringing on a testing and inspection agent as a third party, independent party to test the construction. And this is for the site work, primarily will be compaction testing and as well as material testing to make sure that the fill material, et cetera, are meeting the project standard. And this is a standard part of the construction. We have a line item for 250,000 in our budget. We reach out to 4 firms for competitive pricing, and after that, after we have level everyone's proposal so that we're comparing apples to apples, that Intertech PSI has the lowest cost, and then we are asking for the committee to approve up to $187,000 for the service of testing and inspection, and this would be an amendment to Compass project contract, and then Compass will supervise the process.
We have any
Questions?
questions or comments? Hearing none, would anybody like to make a motion to approve the $187,000 for testing and inspection?
So moved.
All right, we have a motion from, I'm not certain who that was.
It was Bill Hahn.
All right, thanks, Bill. For Mr. Hahn, do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. Barrett. Let me poll the committee. Mr. Frisha,
Yes.
Mr. Barrett,
Yes.
Ms. Gallivan,
Yes,
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Fisher,
Yes.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Mr. Hahn,
Yes.
Ms. Santiago Taylor,
yes,
and I vote yes, it is a vote. So our next item here is the vote to approve the vendor invoice package for the month of August. And again, back to you, Chin.
Okay, for the month of August, that we have a few more items on the list that and then this is a summary which has Verizon utility bill, and it falls into two category. One is previously paid, and then the other is the remaining amount, which is down on the bottom. And then Compass's bill, Capay's bill, and the Fontaine's request for payment for the construction for period ending August 31 for the amount of $986,944.20. And we also have $6,701, which is labeled Amazon Business. And this is actually, I want to say total of 6, I could be wrong on the exact number, of AC unit to be installed into the existing bird school. And this is in your package, invoices, and then the requisition. And this is the invoice for the air conditioning unit. And then this is the project status accounting, and then that in your package also has the reimbursement amount, which up to this point we submitted $4.376 million of payment requests into MSBA and have received almost $1.9 million to the town. Any questions?
Yeah, Chin, too.
Yep.
For Fontaine, is that for just the month of August, or was for the entire summer?
So this is the Fontaine's request for payment, and that this is for the we have made the payment previously, and so that this is not for the entire summer.
Okay, so basically it's for the second half of the summer then.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
we-
still remaining amount. Joe, do you want to explain further?
Yeah, we had a July rec that covered the work completed in July. This is August, covered up to what was completed in August. And I believe there is some remnant that'll be billed in September from that amendment 1.
Right, and that we have remain to finish. We still have $339,000 as of now.
Okay. Other question was on the air conditioning units. You said it's for the existing school?
Yes, that's to the best of my understanding.
Someone want to explain that?
that's my question too.
So what's happening here is that the existing school would, because of the construction noise and the dust concern, that the proposal was because we would have to close the windows, and for the existing building that the excessive, with the window closed, there will be no ventilation, and during the shoulder season, it will be that it will be a concern in terms of the additional during the this time of the year, and also in the following May. And then so the decision is that to let the window to be closed, and then the air conditioning units will be provided in the existing birth school for this school year.
What areas are they air conditioning?
I believe the primary, the first focus is on the classrooms that faces the construction site.
And are
Yeah,
these windows?
One point of clarification, it was 12 air conditioners. It's about 12 classrooms.
My apology on the number of units that I did not remember correctly.
Yeah, Jack, the concern was the side of the school facing the construction site, and how do we mitigate, dust and noise and everything from kind of getting into the classroom. Obviously, there's dust control on site, which is, fairly effective, but it doesn't necessarily knock down everything. And if those windows need to be open for fresh air and on hotter days and things of that nature, what was the best way to kind of mitigate that? And the discussion point kind of landed on if we're able to do air conditioners in those handful of classrooms, they can keep the windows closed on the and avoid that issue altogether.
Okay, so it's for the classrooms that face the construction site during the shoulder seasons when the windows would be normally open but can't be open because of the dust and the noise.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Could I ask a question as well? We're still going to own those after the project to repurpose them somewhere. Am I correct?
Yep,
That
Donnie's
is
taking
correct.
all of them.
All right, very good. Very good. Any other questions? All right, hearing none, I would accept a motion to approve the vendor invoice package for the month of August 2022.
So moved.
A motion from Ms. Gallivan. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, motion for Mr. Fisher. Let me pull the committee. Mr. Fisher,
Yes.
Mr. Barrett,
Yes.
Ms. Gallivan,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Fisher,
Yes.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Mr. Hahn,
Yes.
Ms. Santiago Taylor,
yes,
and I vote yes, it is a vote. So our next item here is a review and approval of the pre-qualified file sub-bid contractors for the early bid package number 3. That's a mouthful. So more for Compass.
Yeah. I just want to make sure that Mr. Chairman, that we have somebody who is under the name of Education Cooperative. Is this somebody that I should admit?
Yeah, Jen, that's Jean Kenny, Dr. Jean Kenny. She's a
Got it.
member of the committee now.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Apology for the interruption. That pre-qualification for early release package number 3, the Massachusetts regulation for public construction requires pre-qualification for certain subcontractors, and that in the package number 3 that will be going out on October 5th, that we will involve in 3 trades that requires pre-qualification, which is waterproofing, damp-proofing, and caulking. This will be for the waterproofing of the foundation, and then roofing and flashing and metal windows. The pre-qualification subcommittee met and vote yesterday, and that this is the recommended list. So this list has been vetted. We received the package, and then we checked the reference and all the necessary paperwork that's per the Massachusetts public bid regulation, and that all but 2 firms qualify, and then they're the 2 are these 2 commercial masonry corporation and the Thompson Waterproofing did not meet the standard, so they would not be qualified And the recommendation to the full committee is to accept this list of pre-qualified subcontractors, which we will notify them prior to the October 5th date.
Do you need a vote on this, Chin?
Yes, we do.
All right, do we have
Just
any questions?
accept the vote would be to accept the recommendation of the pre-qualification subcommittee.
Do we have any questions or comments? Hearing none, I'd accept a motion to approve the pre-qualification file sub-bid contractors from early bid package number 3.
So
Do we have a
moved.
motion? All right, I have a motion. Is that Mr. Barrett?
Yes.
Motion from Mr. Barrett. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. Hahn. Was that Mr. Hahn?
Yep.
All right, very good. Let me pull the committee. Mr. Frisha,
Yes.
Mr. Barrett,
Yes.
Ms. Gallivan,
Yes.
Dr. Goff,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Fisher,
Yes.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Mr. Hahn,
Yes.
Ms. Santiago Taylor,
Yes.
Ms. Kenny,
Yes.
and I vote yes, it is a vote. So our next item of business here is both Compass and TAP A to review and approve the early bid package number 3 for bidding. So again, Chin, if you could.
Okay, so this is, I'm going to turn this over to Matt for him to walk through the early bid package number 3.
Thanks, Chin. So basically what you're looking at here is our cover page for ER3. As Chin started to note earlier, it's the early release package for structural steel, concrete foundation waterproofing. So basically any of the waterproofing and damp proofing that'll be underneath the ground that's getting backfilled on the foundations, elevators, and anything below grade that needs that. The roofing, the PVC roof, all the aluminum windows, doors, frames, and hardware, and also the elevator. As Chin noted, that'll be going out to bid on the 5th of October. It'll be posted to Project Dog, who is going to be doing the electronic bidding for us and running that. And again, we're just continuing to work on the 90% estimate, which is going out on the same day. So this and the ER3 package will both be going out. You can't probably read any of this, but we have, the landscape drawings, which include their concrete work there. We have the structural drawings next. And then we have a select amount of the architectural drawings that tie back to all the items we noted above. And then with this package, we will also issue the full 90% CD estimate submission for reference only. And that way, for coordination purposes, they can look at all of our wall sections and other details that they may need to fully coordinate these other items that are being bid on.
And for clarification that this package is scheduled in such a way per the recommendation of Fontaine Brother because of the long lead time and in terms of and this is to meet the project schedule.
Any
Matt,
questions?
Matt,
Go
I
ahead.
missed the date. When did you say it was going out?
October 5th.
And the 90% estimate will be available the same day, right?
Yeah, both documents will be going out the same day. So they'll start their estimating on those documents that day when it goes out.
And do the bidders get a copy of the estimates?
They
No.
will not get it. So the package goes out, the ER3 package and the 90% documents for the estimate submission go out on the same day. So they'll be going out to our cost estimator and also Fontaine's cost estimator, and they'll be putting their estimates together. And then once we actually get the kind of the bids back for this ER3 package, we'll have harder numbers to kind of back down off of our escalation fees and everything else that we currently have in the estimate.
Okay, thank you.
Can somebody give us a little more background on the 90% piece? Like, you're saying it's going out to some people on October 5th. But is that like the completed 90% amount? In which case we'll know how much trouble we are or aren't in budget-wise, or is there more to that process before we solidify the 90% amount?
So this is similar to what we did in 60% as well. So the 90% package is the complete package for, all the drawings for the architectural landscape, everything for the entire project. That will go out to, again, to our cost estimator and to Fontaine's cost estimator. We'll get the budget numbers back from that. Again, they'll be plugging in the numbers that we already have received for ER1 and ER2, so we can track the total budget of the project. And then as we start getting some of these other numbers in that are the numbers for the ER3 package, they can then plug those numbers in for the placeholders that are currently going to be in the 90% estimate. Does that make sense and answer your question, or?
It answers at least half of it. It doesn't tell us whether or not we have to cut things out of the budget in the way that we had to do at the 60% mark. And
Correct.
I think
So, yep.
saying
So
is-
once, go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say, I think what you're saying is we wait until we get those two other cost estimates back and
Correct.
align it all. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. So basically we'll get the cost estimate back. Right now they're planned for 3 weeks later. So once we get that number, we'll see where you stand in comparison for the overall budget. And then if we have to look at VE again, we'll kind of go back to the list that we had previously from 60% and start plugging away from there to get back on budget again.
And how much time will this committee have to make that decision?
Jen, do
Right
we
now
have
we-
that? Go ahead, Jen.
Oh, right now that we're expecting that by November 1st meeting, that we will have the first view of the number. And that if that number is high, then we will work on value engineering and make some recommendation, and then we won't be asking for a vote until the following meeting, November 15th.
Okay, thank you.
Matt,
Go ahead, Jack.
quick one. You said that the early release packages 1 and 2 have already gone. I know they've already gone out. Have we got the bids back yet?
Yes,
How do they look relative to the 60% estimates?
we were under
Sure.
on both, I believe. Jen, do you have those numbers available?
I'll let Joe answer that.
Okay.
Yeah, Jack, so the two packages that were part of that ERP2 were the full site work package and the metal decking furnish package. We had a modest savings from what we had in the 60% estimate on site work, about $27,000. That'll go back into the budget and be available for 90%. And then on the metal decking, we were actually right on budget, and one of the bidders actually reached out to us. So we bid this back in July, if you'll remember. One of the bidders actually reached out to us and kind of unprompted, out of nowhere, kind of out of the ordinary, and said, "Hey, have you guys awarded this yet? We've had some projects canceled. We'd like to take a look at our bid. We think we might be able to improve upon it." So we gave them the opportunity to do that. They came back with pretty significant savings over what we had in the 60% estimate. And so then we went back to all the bidders and gave them the opportunity to update pricing. And we were able to return a pretty significant figure, over 200,000 back into the budget just with the metal decking. So that's a good savings. I imagine when we get these 90% estimates in, we'll have some that go over what we had in the budget, and we'll have hopefully more that continue to go under, and we'll be able to keep things balanced out to the best we can.
Still, that's a good starting point. That's
Very
really
good.
good. If they
Very
came
good.
back with that kind of a savings on a BAFO, that's really good.
Yeah, and it's material only pricing too, which is hard fixed cost, and that's a good sign in the market.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if there's no other questions, that we would like to ask for an approval for the early release package to go out to bid on October 5th.
I would make a motion to approve the early release package on October 5th.
Is Mark still? Yeah, Mark is still.
Yeah,
I dropped out and then I rejoined instantly, so I'm back. Thank you. So do we have a motion to approve early bid package number 3?
Nancy just made a motion that I'll
Right.
second.
Oh, okay, very good. I'm sorry. So I was
No worries.
absent for that. So we have a motion and a second. Let me poll the committee. Mr. Frisha,
Yes.
Mr. Frisha. Right.
Yes.
Mr. Barrett,
Yes.
Ms. Gallivan,
Yes.
Dr. Goff,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Fisher,
Yes.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Mr. Hahn,
yes,
Mr. Senek. Mr. Senek,
Yes.
very good. Ms. Santiago Taylor,
Yes.
Ms. Kenny,
Yes.
and I vote yes, it is a vote. So our next item here is the 3-week look ahead. Back to you again, Chin. Thank you.
Matt, this is yours.
yes. Thanks, Shin. Can you zoom in a little bit, or is that all the bigger you can make it? People hopefully can read a little bit better. Okay. So we're on the 20th. Again, our focus right now is on the early release package that we just discussed, and also the 90% estimate set. Again, that's going out on October 5th. So that's the deadline we're currently working on. As we continue along, we had another one of our trade bid pre-qual meetings on the 4th. We kind of discussed that already earlier with Chin. Moving along, we have our weekly OAC meetings every Wednesday. So that's coming up tomorrow. We are continuing our structural coordination for the ER3 package, since that's kind of the main package and kind of the guts of the building. It's important to get that steel correct. So we're doing the best that we can right now to get all that fully coordinated in this package. And again, picking off each of the items we talked about before, looking at window details, coordinating with electrical, roofing, roof drains, everything else that's in that package we're focusing on now, along with the doors, frames, and hardware. We've got the next working group scheduled on the 29th. And then we move into the month of October. Again, focusing on the ER3 package, the coordination and detailing of that, along with the 90% estimate set. That goes out on the 5th through Project Dog, as we mentioned earlier. And then once that goes out the door, we'll continue our push towards the bid documents and getting the 90% MSBA submission together, which goes out after that. And then we will also be taking in any bidder questions that come out of the package that's released. So we'll be answering those bidder questions and putting together any addenda items for anything that comes up with that, or anything that we realize needs to still get added into the package based on our review, Fontaine's review, and also the review from Compass. And again, I think that's about it for the highlights. Again, we've got the estimate back. We currently have that due back on 10/26 for the 90%. And then we currently have the reconciliation of the estimate on 10/28. Any questions or comments regarding the 3-week look ahead?
Thanks, Matt. Any questions?
I have a quick question, Mark.
Yep, go ahead, Ben.
Who's tasked with keeping the meeting minutes from the OAC meetings? Is that something Compass does?
Yes, that's Compass's task. Yes.
Yeah. Is that something that's going to be shared with us at any point as a group, or is it something that you all file? And if we ever wanted to look at it, we could, or how is that ever communicated to us?
Then excuse me, we can add anyone to the distribution list when we email them out. We also upload them to the project collaboration site. There's a folder on there for the working group minutes and the OAC minutes, I believe.
Oh, okay. I'll have to
Yep.
check it out on the site then, Brian. Thanks.
Yeah, so I think we do that as soon as we email them out, we upload them to the folders. But if you want to be on
Yeah.
the distribution list, we could add you to the distribution list as well.
No, I'll take another look on the site. Thank you.
Okay.
Mark, 2 quick things.
Do we have any final questions or comments? None. I would take a motion to adjourn.
Mark, I got a couple of quick things.
Okay, go ahead, Jack.
You said what was going to happen on the 28th of October? That was a review of what?
That was a reconciliation of the estimates.
Okay. All right. And the other thing is, I know we're just at the very start of construction, but are we getting to the point at the end of October or certainly into early November that we can start to have a 3-week look ahead on what's going to happen from a physical construction at the site?
Yes, I think, Jack, that would be a great idea. We will add that to our, into the meeting as one of the updates.
Yeah, I understand that it's slow right now. We're still
Yep.
they got all the site work, they got a lot of the site work done over the summer, and that's great. And you're waiting for the bids right now, but once we start to get the bids awarded and they start in earnest, I think it'd be good to add the construction details to the 3-week look ahead, not just the documentation.
Yeah, Jack,
Will do.
we've been doing a 3-week look ahead weekly as part of that OAC meeting. So we could translate that to this very easily.
Okay, thank you, Joel.
Yeah, Jack, the building committee updates are gonna have more of a construction update starting next month. The site contractor is actually starting to mobilize to the site now. So there's potential of machinery moving around out there as early as next week. So yeah, the building committee will also have a construction update associated with it.
Great, thank you.
Mark, drop off again. I'll just jump in real quick.
Any
and
other
say,
questions or comments?
I'll just
Do we
jump
have
in
my
real quick and
connection is
say,
unstable, so I can't. I didn't hear anybody. Do we have a motion?
Brian was trying to say something. He just had a couple of quick things he wanted to say, Mark.
Too late, Brian.
all right.
All right, go ahead, Brian.
I just want to say thanks to the team, Tape, Fontaine, and the school, Donnie, Mike, and everybody. Dr. Goff, Ed. I thought overall getting ready for the first day of school went pretty seamlessly, and as far as we heard, no major issues. I think folks are pretty satisfied. I know there's a lot of anxiety out there, but I was there on the first day and that went pretty smoothly. And Ed, I don't know if you've had any other hiccups, but I think overall the team did a nice job and hopefully calm some people's nerves about the project in general. And hopefully we keep doing the same level of service for the job.
Yeah, the opening school has gone really well so far, and the parents have been, pretty adaptable in terms of figuring out what we want them to do from day one. And the kids have been great. They've taken to both entries on either side of the building, which is new for everybody, and have not had any complaints from anybody about how it's been going. So we've been pretty pleased. And anytime I have a question or an issue, I can just reach out to Kate or Mike, and they're there to help right away. So thanks for that. I appreciate all the help.
Good.
Good.
So
Now, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
in a second.
I have a bad
Yeah.
connection here. I didn't hear anything. All right, I have a
Okay,
motion from Ms.
Nancy-
Gallivan. Do we have a second?
Yeah. Yeah, and Ben Barrett.
Second from Mr. Barrett. Motion from Ms. Gallivan, second from Mr. Barrett. Let me pull the committee. Mr. Frishaw,
Yes.
Mr. Barrett,
Yes.
Ms. Gallivan,
Yes.
Dr. Goff,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Fisher,
Yes. Yes.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Mr. Connor.
Yes.
All right, Mr. Hahn, Mr. Senek.
Horace wrote in the comments that he votes yes.
Okay, very good. I see it. Thank you. Ms. Santiago Taylor,
Yes.
Ms. Kenny,
Yes.
and I vote yes. It is a vote. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Thank you.
Thank you.